Hi, everybody. I wanted to talk today about burnout. Burnout is basically when we feel like we cannot go any further. We feel we are done, our energy is depleted. We don't really have the want or the need to invest anymore in our projects, in our life. And we're just feeling like anything that anyone asks from us, whether it's to pass the spoon or to help finishing a project, it's too much. Burnout's a really dangerous zone to get into. And also in Western society, we like to creep as far to the edge as possible. We like to pretend that everybody is this like productive machine that doesn't have an end, that is just an infinite amount of energy and oomph and ability to keep moving. And then when you get burnt out, they're upset with you because they see you as this thing that is infinite, where really you are a human body, which has needs and cycles and depletion. And think of it really like a battery. It's something that depletes and something that recharges. And when you don't have that in mind and you just assume that you're something that can keep going, 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 eventually you're going to burn out, which will make you the thing that society doesn't want, which is something that doesn't contribute. So society is this funny way of turning you into the thing that they don't want. So they will extract everything that they can from you, and then you will get spit out. That's why it's so important to take back your power, take back your energy, and begin using it and utilizing it and nourishing it to what it really is, which is this breathing thing, this inhale and exhale of your energy, this thing that needs an ebb and a flow, this thing that is aware that it is finite in terms of what it can give and also finite in terms of what it can receive. It really goes both ways here. And it needs to also find the right balance for it. So I wanted to go through a couple of reasons why burnout happens. The first one is really just not knowing your why. So, your why, when you're doing something, whether that's cleaning your bathroom or applying for a job or going live on Facebook, you need to know why you're doing it. Without a why, without an intention, we get confused. Our energy depletes faster. Our energy is this ability to create reserves when it knows the reason why it's doing something. Think about it like this way, you know, when a mother sees her child in danger, the strength that she has, the energy that she has catapults because her why is so clear. It's to protect her child, and her energy bank will suddenly move up and fill up. When you don't know what your why is, everything can feel random, everything can feel like a drag, and things can become chaotic. So it's really important to know why you're doing something. Your whys are also going to help you do things that are less pleasant for you. So, for example, if for you cleaning is something that's like me, it's really bothersome, it's annoying, it feels like a drag. But if it's connected to a why, and for me, my why is when my room is clean, I feel better. My mental health is better. I'm able to be more present for my clients. I'm able to be more present for myself. I'm able to think more clearly. When I have that connection to the why, and with that, what happens is that I become more present in my work, which means I have more abundance, which means that I can also create more and have more time for creativity. When I'm connected to the multitudes of whys that cleaning my room can help me with, it's much easier to do that. So you want to get really clear on your why on everything. If something doesn't connect to your why, you probably shouldn't be doing it. If something has no connection to a greater why, and if you can't catch that why pretty clearly, if you have to go through so many loops and holes of why you're doing it, this is something that is just taking your energy away. There are many activities, and some activities are going to be closer to your why than others. But if you can't go 5 steps or 5 whys without realizing this is connected to your ultimate values, it's just an energy waster. Which leads to the next part, delegation. So delegating here is really important when it comes to burnout because we think if it's connected to a why, eventually we have to do it. You know, I have to wash every dish in my sink because I need a clean home so I can have the abundance in the home. But then I'm ending up cleaning every day when I really would like to be working and creating my business. So there are things that might be connected to your why, which is great, but they end up taking up a lot of space and time. And these are things that other people can be doing that they don't need you to do. And this is really, really important to get clear on is delegation helps you get to your core values faster. So when I was living on an eco village, I lived there from last May to this past December. And what I learned there was that I don't have to do everything and I can still get everything I need, which means I don't have to clean, cook, do my laundry, um, go shopping for groceries, all of that in one day, and then also run a business. But really, there was this feeling of when I was in this eco village, this collective community here, we created systems where you're only cooking once a week and doing the dishes once a week, but you're having two home cooked meals a day with a group of 8 people. And you're only cleaning the common spaces once a month because there's 40 of us. So everybody gets 1 day a week, 1 day a month to clean the common spaces. And with this community mindset, I remember waking up and spending time, doing yoga with the community and then spending some work hours and then taking a break and having lunch with my kitchen and then doing more work and then having dinner and then going for a swim in the lake. And I remember this weird feeling coming up in my system and I couldn't recognize it. Where like everything got done and everything was taken care of. And I'm like, what is this feeling? And it was that I was feeling calm, which I've never felt before, which is crazy. I felt calm. And I realized that when things were dispersed, when activities were dispersed and everybody was carrying a little bit of it, I actually had time to relax, and which is insane. The idea that you have to do it all on your own. And if you're not successful. Please get that out of your mindset. We are designed to live in a community. We are tribal. We are here to create something together. And the responsibilities should be shared and must be shared. And I know that our society now doesn't necessarily honor that or doesn't necessarily create space for that, where everything will be taken care of. But this is my invitation to you to think creatively. Do you need to be going shopping by yourself multiple times a week? Can there be a way to share the responsibility here? Can there be a way to create a co-op or a delegation of responsibilities? Do you have to be eating alone every day, doing the dishes every day? Can you create a neighborhood potluck once a week, twice a week, where you get to have leftovers? You get to decide and you get to be creative. This is my cat, by the way. This is Ben. So we really want to create a different way of thinking about things. Now, obviously, some of us are able to afford a cleaning person or help, and that's amazing. And absolutely do that if you can. And if you can't, don't think that you have to do it alone. There are ways to delegate things out. There are ways to share responsibilities. There are ways to create a system in which all of your needs can be met and you're still able to connect closely to your why. You have a genius to you. And when there are other things in life come up, the cleaning, the cooking, the shopping, all of the little technical tasks, we get lost in those and we don't end up living to our purpose. When we get lost in the little tasks, those deplete our energy, even if they're connected to our big why. But the more we get sucked in on that, the more we get sucked in on the laundry and the auto insurance and this and this and this and this, the less time we have to connect to the activities that connect us to our big whys. Our big whys can be activities like family time, holidays, loving relationships, a career that has purpose to it, that feels contribution, nature, reading, arts, creativity, openness. Those are the things that the big whys can hold. And we get it. We're also human beings in a society in which we just have tasks to do. And we need to figure out what is the 95-5% rule, which is basically the idea that 5% of all the tasks you need to do are actually connected to your genius, connected to the best things that are going to make the most impact, that you're going to love the most, and are going to make you feel the most aligned with yourself. And the 95% are all those other things that are still here to support that. They're not wastes of times, but they take your time. So here the difference between they're not wastes of times, like they're still connected to your why. They're still here to support your big things, your big whys, but they are taking your time. And you can go ahead and pause the video here and just make a list of how do you spend your day? What are all the activities that you're doing? And then circle what are part of the 95% and what's part of the 5%. And then what you want to do is you want to make a plan. How can I delegate out as much of the 95% as possible? Can I hire somebody to do the laundry, to wash the dishes, even if it's only once a week, once every other week? Can I get a washing machine or a dishwasher so I don't have to do it manually? Am I working unwisely? Am I maybe doing too many things manually that there's systems for that? Or I can outsource that I don't have to be doing it and give somebody else money to actually take a lot of my workload off. Another part of your 95%, are you doing it all on your own? Maybe if you did it with other people, there would be more sharing happening. Maybe you would still have home cooked meals every single day, but you don't have to cook the meals every single day. Or you can disperse the responsibility by creating a system or a group that does it together. So really feeling into, like, from this list of how you spend your time in the day, feeling into what is the 5% and what's the 95%, and creating systems to start delegating that out. Obviously, people can't work out for you or exercise for you, but and if they could, that'd be super cool. I would definitely get somebody to do that for me. But just feeling into what are the things that are just only you can do and are part of your genius and give you joy and give you impact and help bring your future forward. So that is the big thing with getting burnt out. It is connecting to your why and delegating out the 95%. That's for people who know what they're here for, know what their values are. Now we have a different type of person, and that is the person who doesn't know why they're here. They are still in the swirling of the whys. They are in the swirlings of the shoulds, swirlings of the I should do this, I should do that. My mom told me this, my dad told me this, my teacher in high school said this, all my camp friends do this. They're in the shoulds. My life should look a certain way. What happens with that is that when you have an external idea of what your life should look like and you're working towards that without ever checking in with yourself, you are going to wake up one day in a relationship that you don't belong in a place that is not good for you, and in a career that sucks your energy dry. And that's going to create burnout. This will also create habits like addiction and dissociation and as many exits as possible. You're going to try to find ways to exit your life as much as possible without doing it consciously or intentionally. You're going to watch Netflix. You're going to get addicted to things. You're going to zone out. You're going to avoid your feelings because, and I say this with a lot of love, your feelings are going to be overwhelmingly horrible when you actually tap into them because you're not living your life. You're living somebody else's life. And your body is screaming, not this, not this, not this. And that's why you're going to do as many little exits as possible to get out of it. So what do you do when you're not living in your life? You're going to have to look at these four things. You're going to have to look at your relationships. You're going to have to look at your career. You're going to have to look at the place that you're living in. And you're going to have to look at your health. Your health is the last sign that something's off. Your health is the body finally rebelling against you, saying, I can't do it anymore. Please do something differently. Your place is going to be that feeling of how much are you there? How much are you not there? When you walk into your home, Can you relax? Or do you go immediately on your phone? Do you feel comfortable with your roommates or your partner or living alone? Or does this feel like an automatic need to escape, an automatic need to not be there? And I know for myself that when I've been living in places that weren't right for me, I found every excuse to leave. I would leave on trips very spontaneously. I would stay out late all night. I would leave early in the morning. I would find whatever reason I can not to be in the home. Um, your place also exists outside of just your home. So it's not just your home, but also your apartment building or your block or your community or the state that you live in. It really expands to all the different concentric circles of what it is to be in the place that you're in. And you know it based on just how much are you there? How much are you there? And that's how you know, are you in the right place or not? The next thing is your career. Does this career celebrate and help me explore my genius? Or is it just a job? Is it just a job? Is it just something to pay the bills? And I totally commend that, by the way. I understand that our life circumstances are always shifting, and sometimes you get the job because you need to pay your bills. And I respect that and honor that. And I want to say, if that's the case, that this is what you need right now, keep going, do that. If you need to move out of your parents' house and you need a job just to save money, do that. That's connected to a why. Do that. I'm not telling you here that only choose a job, only choose a job where you get to finger paint and be in the woods all day and sing songs because that's your joy. I'm not saying that. I'm saying your career is something where your genius and your skill set and your craft are being explored, expressed, and refined. And it's something that has a future. It's something that you can keep feeling into. It's something that gets you excited about, that you feel passionate about. And it's something that you get to do when you first have your whys set up. Why are you doing it? Why are you creating this life? What kind of life do you want? And then you'll have to get through the trajectory to get there. So the career is a little bit trickier than the health and the place, because there's sometimes a more of a process to make sure you're set up to really be investing in your career. And I trust you and I trust your wisdom that you can make a wise choice of, are you in the phase right now where you just need that job to pay the bills, or are you already playing small, being in fear mindset, and knowing that actually you can start delving into your career. Your career is the place in which your true genius is combined with what people need and what's a service to the world. And also what will be developed there is a skill set. So it's a three-way win-win-win. You're helping the world, you're able to then connect to your true abilities, which is like helping the divine come into the world. And you're also receiving a skill set. The work is refining you as well. And the last thing here is relationships, which we all know is complicated, messy web. But the best thing is to know is when you are looking at your relationships, and I'm not saying from day to day, moment to moment, but in an overall, do you feel seen? Do you feel like yourself? Or do you only feel the most like yourself when you're outside of this relationship or these relationships? And that's your index of, do you feel like yourself? Do you feel like you're allowed to be there? Or do you feel like you have to fold in? So relationships, career, place, and health. Those are the 4 ways to know if you're in your lane. Once you adjust and get yourself back in your lane, then again, you're connecting to your big why and delegating out. Big why, delegating out. All right. Next thing that we need to look at in terms of burnout is self-care. Self-care, it's super easy. What is self-care? Caring for yourself. Self-care can look like a lot of different things. Please don't confuse self-care with images that you've seen of mud masks and spa days. That's one version of self-care, but self-care can look like 1,000 different things. Self-care can be laser tag. Self-care can be going parasailing. Self-care can be spending 3 months alone in a cabin in Ireland. Self-care looks like a lot of different things. And depending on your life phase, depending on your circumstances, You will have different opportunities of how much self-care you can give and what dosage. And it might be that you need to give yourself 1% self-care every day if you're a mom of little kids, or it can be something else where you take 6 months off of the year off and the other 6 months you're working really hard. You get to design your life and you get to see what is your battery. What's your battery life like? So just like you would never let your phone get to 0%, why would you let your body get to 0%? Why would you let your body get to 10%? Why would you let your body get to 20%? Try to keep your self-care that your battery lowest is at a 40. Easier said than done, but again, what we spoke about earlier is delegate. Delegate and start creating systems where it's not all on you. When you have that, it's actually much easier to maintain that 40% minimum. All right. Self-care. And it's really, really important. It's just taking care of yourself. A lot of people have this story that self-care is selfish or indulgent. And I want to call that out and say that's bullshit, because anyone who knows, if you're sleep deprived, you end up hurting the people you love. If you're malnourished, you end up not producing or creating what you can. If you're overwhelmed or doing like the workaholism thing or just doing too much, you end up not having presence for your life and presence for the people that you love. So self-care is really not about you. It's about what comes through you, what can come through you. You are a receptor, you are a vehicle. And when you're not taking care of that, when you're not taking care of this body, what comes through is different. It's thinking about not taking care of your car and then expecting it to drive miles and miles and miles and getting upset when it doesn't. So really just think of it as like an intake, outtake. What are you putting in your body? What are you giving to your body? What are you caring for this self? Are you giving it what it needs, or are you depleting it and expecting it to perform all the time? And this is the most important part of self-care. And this is the last thing I'll say, and I'll leave it with you guys here, is knowing the warning signs. So think of your body like a stop sign, like a stoplight. You got your green, you got your yellow, you got your red. You exist in all these three places. And what I have my clients do is I write their graph of their red and their yellow and their green and really see what their life looks like when they're in green. Green is when they're flourishing, they're connected, they're open, they're flexible, they're spacious. Yellow is when they're more in an activated state. They're in a flight or fight. Maybe there's a crunch time at work. Maybe they're in a debate with a friend. Maybe they're cooking and doing a lot of things at once. Your yellow isn't a bad place to be in, but it's the place in which you're activated. Your nervous system is doing more. And then there's the red. That's when there's too much happening that your body goes to an I can't mode. This is when you can't get out of bed. This is when you're not showering anymore. This is when your libido drops. This is when you're feeling depressed. And what happened is, and I want to just be really clear, is your red doesn't happen out of nowhere. Unless a tragedy happens, you get into an accident, somebody dies. The red has a lot of warning signs. You can't go to red without going to yellow. You got to get to know your yellow really, really well. What does your yellow feel like? What does it look like? And let's find the points in which you start getting into an orange state. You're getting closer to the red. What does that look like? What does that feel like? I always tell my clients, think of this green, yellow, red system as 0 to 100. Once you get to 70, once you get to that orange, your body will automatically go to 100. Your body will already go into red, and it won't be able to just get out of it. We'll have to move through red before it comes back down into yellow and green. We need to stop glorifying the orange or the red. We need to stop glorifying this idea of working yourself to the bone, because what you're actually doing is every time you get to red, your body emits certain chemicals of cortisol, which ends up deteriorating your health. So every time you get to a red, you take a little bit of your life force away. You take a little bit of your body's health away. For what? For what? Get to know your yellow. Don't get to a 70. Because once you get to the 70, you have to go to the red. And then you've just taken part of your life force away for no reason. I understand that you can get to a red if an emergency happens, if a trauma happens, and that's what it's there for. It exists for those moments. But you working a 12-hour day, that's not what it's there for. So feeling into, what does your 60 feel like? What does your 65 feel like? This is the moment still when you can return back down. So for me, for example, I can work straight for hours and hours and hours and hours. And by the end of the workday, I'm depleted, my eyes hurt, I feel exhausted, I feel angry, I feel resentful, I want to quit my job. I'm in the red. What I learned was that if I take a break at hour 4 for an hour, I leave every day of work feeling good and feeling aligned and feeling like I like my job and my mission and I feel okay. And secret, I don't do that much less work than if I would have worked straight. So you're finding what your 60 is. What's your warning signs? Maybe it could be when you start. I don't want you to start getting a headache. I want you to feel the moments before you get the headache. I want you to know yourself. I want you to know that if you don't eat, then you get cranky. So eat and don't wait until you're hungry and cranky. Eat before then. Know that your body needs food every 4 hours. Everybody's different, but know when your body needs food. Know when your body needs a break. Know when your body needs hydration or nature. Everybody has its own rhythm to it, and get to know yours, because when you're in that yellow, you still have choice. You still have free will. Once you get into the red, you get into the I can't. And when you're in the red consistently, you're in burnout within a month. So let's get you out of the red. Let's get you into the green and the yellow. And let's get you feeling into that place in which your genius is coming out. Your green is when you're in the 5%. The yellow might be that area where you're 95%, where you're doing the things that you know are connected to your why, but might be better in a group or community or delegated out. So this is here to really remind you of, like, depletion is not a sign that there's something wrong with you. Depletion and burnout is not a sign that you're not living to society's standards. Depletion is the sign that there's something wrong with the way society is set up. And by you going first with your body, with your soul, with your why, with your mission, and building and designing your life from that point, changes the culture. Because we're co-creating culture together, everybody. It's not culture has been given to you and now you're a slave to it. You get to have a say. You get to say what feels good for you, how your body moves, what your rhythm is, what your why is, and what your mission is, and create a life in that way. And that pulsates out. That creates a new culture. You are co-creating society with every decision that you make. Every time you feel yourself getting to that 65% of intensity and you take a step back, you go out for a walk, you take a break, you call a friend for support, you ask somebody to watch the kids for an hour, you change culture. You have the power to do that. And I'm wishing everybody such a great day, and just knowing, turn the story on burnout. Take your energy back, take your power back. And I'm wishing you all an amazing month while I'm out hiking the Colorado Trail, and looking forward to doing more programs for you guys, more videos like this. And you can go ahead, and there's a little link on the bottom with a survey that tells you more things of what you can be doing, and also giving me that knowledge of what do you need help with so I can create more classes like this. Anyways, sending you all a lot of love. Have a wonderful day.